Hello, Shocktober listeners. I have a fun movie to talk about today. That movie is called It Comes at Night. Now, this movie was getting a lot of buzz on the what's it called? The circuit where the festival circuit. That's what it is. It played at some film festivals and was getting a lot of buzz. So immediately I was interested. The one thing I'll say about this movie is I believe the title is misleading. So let me read the synopsis here, which says, secure within a desolate home as an unnatural threat terrorizes the world, a man has established a tenuous domestic order with his wife and son. This will soon be put to the test when a desperate young family arrives seeking refuge. Now, I wouldn't say there's like a ton of ideas in this movie that are original. What makes this movie so good, because it is very good, is just the filmmaking. It's very well acted. It's very well made and shot, edited, very well written. It's a very good movie, but a lot of the ideas, like, you could definitely pick out of other places. So the whole idea is there's some sort of sickness raging the world. You never learn much about it. The movie opens with the family killing and burning their grandfather who has succumbed to the sickness, so you can see it right away. Like, okay, the beginning of the movie, here's what it's about. You get the threat. And then we kind of just establish the main family, which is a mother, daughter, son. And the son is kind of the main character. Like, while the movie follows this whole family, the son feels like the crux of the story. He's kind of the emotional center, whereas his parents have completely given in to emotion and like protecting the family. The son's still kind of like, well, maybe we can help people and blah blah blah. So yeah, as I said in the synopsis, their house gets broken into, and they capture the guy, and they hold him up, like, why'd you break in, blah blah blah. He says he has a family, he's just trying to help him, and he didn't know anybody lived there. So they kind of hold him for a day to see if he's sick, which he seems to not be. And then they decide to let his family come in. So they bring in his family, and they kind of set in order. Like, he has the rules. Like, there's only one way in and out of the house, and he has the key, and they have a routine and everything. Basically, the theme of the movie is paranoia. It's, should you trust the people that you bring in? And that's kind of the main point of the movie, I guess. And I do feel like that some things were a little lost. I mean, like, to me, it's a 4 out of 5 because it's a really great movie. It's really well made, but it doesn't do anything new, and it doesn't go out of its way to like have a super deep message. Basically, we're gonna start getting into the ending stuff here. Because my main problem with the movie is, like, so there comes a point where the kid is like having nightmares throughout the movie, and they're kind of like visions. And the other family they bring in, they have a little boy who, one night the main character's kid wakes up and finds the door open, and then he finds the little boy, kind of just in one of the rooms by himself. So he puts him in their room, and then he says, like, oh, he goes to close the door, and he's like, oh, someone was inside. Like, so they lock the door, they check it, and what they see is, so actually I missed this, they have a dog who runs off earlier in the movie, and then the dog has come back, and the dog got sick. So they have to decide, like, who opened the door. Like, nobody knows who opened the door or what was going on. And they're trying to figure it out, and they're thinking, oh, maybe the little boy was sleepwalking because the other son got up and found the little boy. And it's like, oh, did he come in contact with the dog? What happened? And so they decide, like, hey, this is dangerous. Maybe we should all just stay in separate rooms for a few days and see if anybody shows any signs of sickness. And then all of a sudden, the other family just wants to leave, and they're super aggressive about it. Like, they have a gun and like, look, we just want to get out of here. And I don't understand, like, because the idea would be like, oh, like, their son is sick and they don't want to reveal that he's sick, but nobody seems to be sick. They keep saying that nobody's sick, and everybody's just paranoid. But it's like, I don't know how we got from A to B. Like, why all of a sudden is this family like violently trying to get out of this house when they probably could have just asked to leave? But actually, they do say that if they left, like if they let them leave, they could come back and take what they have. So it might be better to just kill them because it would be safer. But obviously, they don't want to do that. So I guess that's kind of, and they're like, hey, we'll leave and we'll never come back and blah, blah, blah. And it escalates from there into the worst case scenario. And they end up killing the other family, but it's like never revealed if any of them were sick. And then the end of the, like throughout this whole situation going on, their son is like, look, if their boy was sick, I am too, because I touched him, like I moved him. And so like nobody's showing any signs of sickness, but the boy is having nightmares and stuff. But then, at the end of the movie, they end up killing the family. Like, they shoot the husband, and then as the wife is running away, they shoot and ends up killing the child that she's holding, kind of Walking Dead style, if you've read the comics. And then, she begs to be put out of her misery, so they kill her too. And then this disgusts their son, and he runs and pukes in the bathroom, and he pukes up blood, and it's revealed that, hey, he is sick. So I guess the idea is like, hey, they took a shot, they took out this family because they felt they had to, and turns out somebody probably was sick because their son ends up sick, and he dies, and the movie ends with them just sitting alone. And hey, it's another day. This is just how it goes, and it's super fucking depressing. But the movie's really well made. It's very good. As I said, like what makes it good is the writing, the direction, the acting. It's not a ton of new ideas, but it's just the way those ideas are presented to you. It's very tense. Music plays a really good role in the movie. Like music feels like it's constantly building to something, and it helps with the tension of pretty much each scene that it's enhancing. And it's a short movie. It's only like 90 minutes, 91 minutes, 94 minutes, somewhere around that range. But I could not recommend It Comes at Night anymore. I'd highly suggest checking it out. 4 out of 5 for me, just because it fumbles a little bit in the ending of like, oh, like how do we get from A to B? But it's all still good and comprehensible. And again, just a little off for not a lot of new ideas, but just old ideas presented very fun. So I highly recommend It Comes at Night. So that's going to be our Shocktober for this one. Our next episode is actually going to be a very popular horror film that I have only seen for the first time recently. So be sure to check that one out and see what it is. But we will see you tomorrow for our next horror movie review.